I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving with your family and friends, and I hope it was a profitable one for you as well. It was for me. It was for you if you followed me, because yesterday on the short term I made it 7 straight winning days because I cashed in with yet another 15-dime best bet winner on the Cowboys. And you got it for half price, as I continue to prove to you that you don't have to spend big money to make big money. And today I'm going to up the ante with a play that's even bigger. And it's a very rare play for me in college football. More about that in a minute, plus an interesting story for you about a major Hollywood star that I met that I wanted to pass on to you, plus a couple of complimentary plays too. But first, let's talk about gambling, because this is, after all, about making money, is it not? Now listen, you know me by now. I've talked to you about this before over the years. I believe that when you're on a roll, that's when you press the action, because that's how you take little baby bankrolls and you make them grow up to be big and strong, and you send them on their merry way. And that's how you make little baby bankrolls turn into big bankrolls. You've got to take shots when you see them, especially when you're on a roll. Because again, after all, this is gambling, is it not? Is this not what we're doing? You've been with me for the past 5 months, you've made a lot of money. You've been with me the past 7 days, you've made a lot of money. Today, I'm upping the ante. 10th ever 20-dime college football release of my career. It's on an early game. It goes at noon Eastern time, Ohio and Akron. And you're going to get it for half price off again by using coupon code HALF, H-A-L-F. Last Saturday, had a 20-dime play, first of the season, 9th ever of my career. It was on Nebraska getting the job done against Michigan State. And today, another one goes. Now keep in mind, it's stronger than the 15-dime winner I had yesterday on the Cowboys, stronger than the Monday night 15-dime winner that I had on the Rams, stronger than the 15-dime college winners I had on Kansas over Marquette on Wednesday night, and also on San Diego over Colorado on Tuesday night. Those 15-dime plays in the NFL, 130 wins, 91 losses over the past 7 seasons, stronger than all of them. NBA 15-dimers, 134 and 102 after counting last Friday's winner on the 76ers over Utah, stronger than all of them, as I go for winning day number 85 out of 139 overall. But what does it not mean? It does not mean that you mortgage the house, that you take a loan against your kids' 529 college savings plans, that you take money off the table that you earmark for your Christmas club presents. If you've been with me, you have a bankroll. If you haven't been with me, you remember the golden rule of gambling: never bet more than you can afford to lose, because then you'll never fall into a financial abyss from which there is no escape. And who invented that golden rule of gambling? Me. Back when I had my nationwide radio show. That's my golden rule of gambling. You can quote me on it. So that's half price. The other big play today that's also at a discount, Shawn Michaels props going out to him. The 5th ever raised the bar 150-dime college football play of his career. The marquee game tonight is West Virginia and Oklahoma. Yesterday, 4th ever 150-dimer, Mississippi State easy Egg Bowl rout of Ole Miss. 3rd ever 150-dimer last Saturday, Navy over Tulsa. 2nd ever 150-dimer, West Virginia over TCU, 47-10 2 Saturdays ago. This is the guy that's the winningest football handicapper at the site the past 7 seasons. $10 bettors, a little over $17,000. You get it for over half price off, as he goes for winner number 16 out of 24 overall by using coupon code SHOWDOWN, SHOWDOWN. Okay, here's my story for you. So, you know the movie Creed 2 is out right now. I haven't seen it. I'm going to see it this weekend. I'm going to be leaving for London on Sunday. I'm going to be over in Europe for 3 weeks, so I thought, hey, it's going to be a cool thing. We'll go catch it, my wife and I, over there, since we'll have some time on our hands and play. Back in 2007 to 2010, when I was doing tons of radio interviews, probably about 40 a week, I was also doing TV for the Comcast regional networks in Chicago, and also up in New York. I was the New York Giants and New York Jets football analyst for them on a weekly basis. I'd go up to New York in their studios in Manhattan, and for Sportsnet New York. And at the time, it was a 90-minute show for the first couple of seasons. And it wasn't just sports-oriented, because, of course, they're right in the middle of Manhattan. They had numerous TV and movie and theater personalities come in every Friday because they were kind of a blend of a sports and entertainment show. Well, you know what a green room is. The green room is where everybody kind of hangs back until they actually are called onto the set. Well, I was in the final segment of the show, the final 20 minutes of a 90-minute program. So I had the luxury. It was co-sponsored by the New York Daily News. So the writers and I would kind of hang back until our turn. But all the writers would go on early. So whoever the star, the entertainment aspect of the show, whoever that was, I was always left with them back in the green room by myself. And we'd just hang every single week, and tons of people in TV and movies would come in every week. But the biggest star, bar none, that came in was Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, right? So he came in and he was there to promote a forgettable movie in 2007 called The Comebacks. And you're going, The Comebacks? What was that? I told you it was a forgettable movie. But when it was announced that he was going to come in, it was like electrifying. Everybody and their brother, people that I had never seen at the studio at all in my 3-year tenure there, suddenly was there at the studio because everybody wanted to meet Carl Weathers. Well, you can understand. They've been watching him on the screen in the Rocky saga for X number of years, right? So he comes in, and it really was amazing because so many people kept, out of love, out of respect, calling him Apollo instead of Carl. And the man just, listen, he had been used to it. He's signing autographs. He's posing for pictures. He's just a jovial guy. Just an amazing personality. I'm just hanging back watching it all, waiting back in the green room because I'm also doing radio interviews with other TV stations and radio stations at the same time. So finally, the show starts. Everybody's kind of heading out to the studio and stuff like that. So Carl Weathers finally was made and escorted back to the green room. It's just me and Carl Weathers. So Carl Weathers comes on back, and the first thing I notice is like, wow, he's not as big as he's walking toward me as I thought he was. Of course, when you see him on the screen, you expect big. But he's big, but not like physically imposing. Now, I'm not a guy that's starstruck. I mean, understand, my first job as a reporter, the first day I ever go into a locker room, first guy I interview is Magic Johnson. Second guy is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Third guy is Pat Riley. Fourth guy, I walk across the hallway, is Julius Erving. Fifth guy is Andrew Toney. Well, when you start at that pinnacle, everything else in the athletic world is kind of downhill. You know, I mean, where do you go? But this is Carl Weathers. I was kind of impressed. So I'd seen what was going on. Carl Weathers comes up with this big hand. He sticks it out, goes to shake my hand, and he says, nice suit. Because I am wearing this beautiful gray pinstriped Armani suit. And listen, I'm not one of these guys that really is into suits or anything like that. But it was bought for me. I had to wear it for TV, blah, blah, blah. The style consultant bought it. And I was like 10 pounds lighter, and I was really built at the time. I have to admit, patting myself on the back, I looked damn good in it. And he says, nice suit. And of course, me, you know, I'm kind of glib. I say to him, loved you in Action Jackson. Remember that movie, Action Jackson? I liked it. Craig Nelson, Vanity, who's now deceased, was in it. Love you in Action Jackson. As I'm shaking his hand, he gives me that Carl Weathers laugh. Now, I'm not going to do an injustice and do a mimic or impersonation of that laugh, but you know that Carl Weathers laugh. You've seen it in Rocky, you've heard it in Rocky, you've heard it in The Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That laugh that he does, he gives me that laugh. He's shaking my hand. He gives me a little wink. So we sit down. We talk for about 10 minutes before he goes on the studio. But of all the people I met, most impressive, a cool guy. So anyway, that's your little Creed story. I was thinking about that today with the movie debuting this week. And Carl Weathers, of the coolest person and the most interesting star. Forget all these damn athletes I ever met. Athletes are a dime a dozen. Most of them are prima donnas, to be quite honest with you. Most of them, if I told you how they really were, you'd go, oh, really? Mm-hmm. Truly. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays here. A couple of selections here. I'm going to ride Missouri minus the 23 at home against Arkansas. The Tigers coming off a 50-17 win at Tennessee. It was their third straight win. The one before that was not nearly as impressive. They really struggled to beat Vanderbilt 33-28 at home, but that was kind of a letdown game when you think about it, because the week prior in Gainesville, they had that big shocking upset of Florida 39-17. Final home game of quarterback Drew Lock's career. He has 11 touchdowns versus 2 interceptions in his last 5 games. You got an Arkansas team that allows 34.5 points a game, an Arkansas team that was just blown out by Mississippi State 52-6. They only had 219 total yards of offense in that game. Now keep in mind, however, Mississippi State defense, tremendous, best in the SEC, better than Alabama on paper. Missouri, not nearly as good. Understand that, okay? But Arkansas has 2 wins on the season. They beat Eastern Illinois in their home opener, and their other one was against Tulsa. They're an injury-riddled, shorthanded team in the secondary because Chad Morris, after last week's loss to Mississippi State, suspended one of their cornerbacks and one of their safeties because they were fraternizing with, I think, like 2 members of the Mississippi State cheerleading squad before or after the game. I'm not making this up. So they were already shorthanded in the secondary. He suspends 2 members, and you're going against a team whose quarterback is playing his last game of his career at home, and he's going to throw the ball nonstop. Makes perfect sense to me. The Tigers have covered 7 of their last 9 games at home. The home team is 4-0 straight up and against the spread in the last 4 meetings. Missouri has 8 straight November wins. Arkansas is 13th in the SEC in scoring, 12th in total offense. I'll tell you, Missouri has screwed me so many times the past couple of years. That's why I'm not putting money on it. It's not even among the considered best bets for me today. But I do like still Missouri. I think it's a damn good play here. You got Central Florida. 24 straight wins, coming off a 38-13 blowout of Cincinnati. Everybody thought that was going to be a close game last week, right? And it wasn't. You got South Florida coming off a loss at Temple, where they blew a 17-0 halftime lead and lost 27-17 to the Owls, who held the Bulls to a season-low 266 yards. It was their 4th straight loss. They also lost at Cincinnati 35-23. They got upset at home by Tulane, hammered by the Green Wave 41-15. They lost at Houston 57-36. All this after a 7-0 start. And I've told you many times, I've never thought much of Charlie Strong as a head coach when he was at Texas or here at South Florida. You got a Central Florida team that is averaging 258 yards on the ground. That's 5.8 yards per carry. You got a South Florida team, again, Charlie Strong really earned his bones in college coaching as his defensive coordinator. Well, you know, he's the head coach here, but he really ought to get his fingers involved with this defense because it's been awful this year. USF is allowing 232 yards per game on the ground, 4.8 yards per carry. Mackenzie Milton had a big game last year against South Florida. Central Florida has now gotten back into the college football playoff picture. They're not going to have a let-up here, not with the 24-game winning streak, not with their postseason bowl aspirations on the line. I think Central Florida builds on the momentum of blowing out Cincinnati, and they score another big win today. Here's another team that has been inconsistent from week to week this year, and that would be Texas. They're a 15-point favorite in a noon kickoff against Kansas. Now, it's senior day in Lawrence. It's David Beaty's final game because Les Miles is coming in. Texas is coming off that 24-10 home win against Iowa State. Previous game, they won 41-34 at Texas Tech. Now, Kansas is coming off a 55-40 loss at Oklahoma, but put up over 500 yards of total offense, right? UT is 0-3 against the spread this season as a road chalk, and they lost 2 of those games outright. But UT has the Big 12 championship game in its horizon. It better win this game. And it's a relatively cheap price at 15. So I'm willing to lay the points and say go hook 'em horns here. But you just never know what you get from Texas one week to another. So of the 3 complimentary plays, which one do I like most? Believe it or not, I'd probably go ahead and lay the points with Central Florida because at least with the Knights, you kind of get a consistent effort one week to another. And then I would say Missouri would be number 2, even though it's a big number because I think Arkansas is that bad. And then UT, Texas would be number 3. And that'll do it. I wish you well and talk to you again on Saturday when we do this.